The Board of Cosmetology meeting is convening at 10 a.m. on October the 2nd, 2024. This meeting is being held in person and by MS Teams video conference and is being recorded. The recording will be posted to the internet for public viewing. I will now call roll. Tracy Peromo here. Harold Fox.
Present.
Chelsea Westcott.
Present.
Jamie Farron.
Absent.
Beatrice Van. Alicia Reed.
Present.
And Sarah Schilling.
Also absent.
Awesome. Members, when you wish to speak, please state your last name for the record. Board members are asked to not use the chat feature during the meetings. The Health Licensing Office asks that individuals attending through MS Teams keep your phones muted and cameras off during the entire meeting or until you are given an opportunity to comment during the public and interested parties feedback period, if indicated on the agenda. Public members wishing to speak must first sign in on the roster sheet available or email Josh Page at josh.page@oha.oregon.gov and provide your first and last name. Everyone is asked to use appropriate language, manners, and protocols when conducting board business. This meeting is called to order.
Thank you very much. This is Bob Offlow, HLO, and first item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. So we'll need someone to make a motion to approve the agenda.
This is Mr. Folks. I make a motion to adjourn to approve the agenda. Not ready to adjourn yet.
This is Chelsea Westcott, a second.
Great. Approval for the agenda, taking roll. Tracy Peromo, yes. Harold Folks.
Yes.
Chelsea Westcott.
Yes.
Alicia Reed.
Yes.
So approved.
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome.
Next item on the agenda are the 2025 meeting dates. I don't know if you noticed it when you received this packet for board meeting materials that there is an opportunity June 12th for an in-person at HLO. But the other dates are February 6th and October 2nd. And those are on Teams. So if everyone can take a look at their calendar and see if those days work.
Hey, Robert, what were those dates again?
February 6th, 2025. These are all Thursdays, by the way.
Okay.
February 6th, June 12th, October 2nd. Alyssa?
Oh, sorry. I was going to note that they were also Thursdays, and that's fine. If I don't know if we have any choice over what day it is, but that is a big hair day for me. So not that it's that many meetings at all. So I don't really mind. But I didn't mind Wednesdays or Mondays. It's just a little bit easier. That's all.
Okay. So HLO has grown substantially in the last few years. And what we don't have are additional days on the calendar. So Sammy's trying to consolidate her board, and she's missing today because she's on vacation, well-deserved vacation, by the way. Anyway, so she asked that they all be on Thursdays. We can make a note that it doesn't work for you potentially, and she can work with you on that.
It totally does work. I just thought if there was any, if that was sort of a random day, then maybe we could choose another one. But if that's the day, I'm 100% okay with it. So no.
Well, is it because of the in-person?
No, it's just Thursdays.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was the June meeting again? What date was that? Did you say?
June
June
12th.
12th, okay, perfect, thank you. This is Chelsea Westcott. Those dates look good for me.
So is that a motion?
Yes. Chelsea Westcott, I motion to approve the dates for 2025.
Okay.
Can we get a second?
This is Harold
Alicia
Folk
Reed. Oh,
and Alicia Reed. We both make a motion to accept those
yes,
dates.
we do. Thank
We're
you,
in
Harold.
tandem. Thank you, Alicia.
Yes, we are.
Okay, I'll call roll. Tracy Promo, yes. Harold Folks,
Yes.
Chelsea Westcott,
Yes.
Alicia Reed.
Yes.
So approved.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay, next on the list is the 2025 chair nomination. And I'm gonna scroll down to another section real quick and give everybody their current standings. So it looks like everybody can reappoint. Tracy, your second term ends in October of 2027. So for you and the other board members, you would be also a candidate if someone so chose to nominate you to continue as chair for another year. So y'all can discuss it. But currently Tracy is the current chair and has been through 2024. And I'm looking at slide 10 in the packet, and it gives an idea of what is it the expectations are for the chair. Call the meeting to order, keep order during the board meeting, direct the flow of the meeting. Guiding members through motions, making the motion-making process. If public comment is being accepted by the board, audience members need to wait to be addressed. And then there's also outside of board meetings, chair would collaborate with the director regarding board budget, may contact, and I, as the director, may contact the chair to discuss the budget, assist in generating meeting agendas. The board specialists or analysts may contact the chair to discuss the agenda for upcoming meetings. So there's not a whole lot of duties, but you all can decide.
I'll speak, I'll let you know, like, I've had fun doing it and I'm happy to do it again. And I'm more than happy for anyone else to, nominate and take place as well. It's like Bob said, it's not a ton of responsibility. It's been fun, but it's up to y'all what you'd like to do.
Thank you, Tracy. Mr. Robert, quick question. Do we have any free lunches involved being chair?
If you come to the office on at the June board meeting in 2025, HLO, the board will buy you lunch.
It's true.
That sounds like a good deal. Thank you.
This is Chelsea Westcott. I nominate Tracy to be the chair again.
This is Alicia Reed. I guess I do too, unless Harold, you want that spot.
Yeah.
No, I nominate Tracy. I will be her underling. If she can't make it, then I will step in and cover for her while she's gone.
I love that. Thank you. Okay, I'll call roll. Do I include myself in that, Bob?
Yeah, so for clarity, there was a motion to keep Tracy as the chair. And there was a first and a second. So Tracy, go ahead and call roll.
Thank you. So Tracy Promo, yes. Harold Folks,
Yes.
Chelsea Westcott,
Yes.
Alicia Reed.
Yes.
Awesome, so approved. Thanks, everybody.
Okay. Moving on to the director's report, unless there's any other questions with regards to the chair or any of the dates that we just discussed for board meetings and Harold's lunch. Okay,
Hey, Robert, you might as well throw in breakfast too, okay? Why not?
you're gonna get here that early? Because if you show up early, they put you to work.
Okay. Thanks.
And I know your track record on getting here early. We won't discuss it in public.
He just needs the proper motivation, that's all, right?
right.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, the good thing is special orders don't upset us.
There you go.
Okay, so a little bit out of order and not even actually on the agenda. Y'all saw the name Josh Page. He has replaced April, and you'll not see Derek's name on here very often because Derek's taken a new job. But Josh, can you wave your hand so they can see you in the back? Hello, Josh is going on his second month with us, doing a fantastic job. Glad he's here. So, if you're not getting things from us, it may be because Josh's email is new to your computers. The other thing I'd like to let the board know is Derek Foltz is, well, he's still the executive assistant until we hire somebody to replace him, but Derek has, applied and been moved into Cerinthia's former position. And so you'll be getting emails from him in a different capacity if you haven't already. Okay.
Congratulations, everybody.
Welcome aboard.
All right. So, back to the director's report, what we have at hand here. With the board members' current standings, Tracy is in a second term, which expires October 2027, and Tracy cannot reappoint. Sarah Schilling is in a first term. It expires April of 2028, and Sarah can reappoint. Chelsea also in a first term, which expires June of 2026 and can reappoint. Is in a first term as well, and that expires August of 2026, and Alyssa can reappoint. Jamie Farron is in a first term. It expires November of 2026, and Jamie can reappoint. And Harold is in a second term, and it expires April of 2027 and can reappoint.
No, cannot.
Excuse me, cannot reappoint. All those
We
can reappoints, I missed it, I apologize. I'd like to remind the board members that there are some required annual trainings that are on this form, and you got the form electronically, so those are hot links, you can just click on them, and as long as you're logged into Workday, it should take you to where you need to go. But there is a once per term overview of boards and commissions training that has to be taken. There's the information security training foundations, which needs to be taken annually. Preventing discrimination and harassment, that also needs to be taken annually. And then an overview of Oregon ethics law, which is optional. But I highly recommend that. I've taken part of it before I was booted out, couldn't get back into it, but it was pretty interesting, pretty informative. Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, moving on to the licensing and fiscal and statistical report. The office has been very busy for the last 10 months. So in this first quarter of 2025, which is the first 3 months following July 1 of 2024, because we run on a different calendar for a fiscal year, which begins July 1 of one year and ends June of the following year. So we are looking at Q1 of 2025. We issued 56 barber licenses, 169 hair design licenses, 201 nail technology licenses, 15 natural hair care license, 264 esthetician licenses, and 276 cosmetology independent contractor licenses, and 80 freelance authorizations. And that's just cosmetology alone. We've issued 187 facility licenses. Any question on licenses being issued to this program? Okay, moving on, licenses renewed. You can see there that there's about 326, and 192 of them were paper and 134 were online. And if anybody asks you, we prefer online. It just moves a lot faster and we can get to it. Hair design, over 2,100 of those, of that license type, and about even with online and paper. And we're still talking about Q1 of 2025. Nail technology, 779 online and 473 on paper. So they're heading in the right direction there. Natural hair care, 6 online and 2 by paper. And for estheticians, 849 were online and 473 by paper. Independent contractors, 765 online, 253 by paper. Freelance authorizations, 48 online and 16 on paper. And facilities, 583 were online and 390 were on paper. The next slide, which is slide 34, if you're following along, these are averages. That's why there's a 0.7. So we're running at about 2,729 barbers through Q1 of 2025. Hair design, 19,270. Nail technology, 12,669. Natural hair care, 196. Estheticians, 15,448. Independent contractors, 7,661. Freelance authorizations, 586. And cosmetology facilities, 5,047. Any questions on the average of licenses? There's a lot of folks out there. Licensed by age and gender, and this does not include facilities. You can see that by far those that identify as female populate this profession, and we've got some licenses out there for folks 90 to 97. There's 13, total of 17 of them. Okay, testing results. So I can go through this line by line if you wish, but I'll just do the current 2024. We've had for barber 168 pass, 303 fail. Aesthetics 1,197 pass, 711 failed. Hair 720 have passed, 454 failed. I got to zoom this in. I'm blind in my old age. Nail technicians, 841 passed, 377 failed. Natural hair care, 55 passed, 70 failed. So some of these may have actually come back and retested and have passed.
Hey, Bob, this is Harold. Hey, quick question for you. Can you go over those barber numbers again?
Absolutely. Going back up, for 2024, 168 have passed, 303 have failed.
Can I ask a question on that? It
Yes.
seems like that's kind of lopsided. And this is the first exam, but I was just wondering, what can we, that number has been kind of consistent. So is it more, what are we missing? What are we not doing to give, I mean, 303 failing and 168 passing,
Mhm.
that's significant. So I'm just wondering, what can we do as a board to, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you know, it's been like that for a couple of fiscal years. All those that are on there, 276 in 2023 and 198 in 2022. I think one of the things that needs to be done, and Derek can speak to it if he wishes, being in the new qualifications position, that we need to have item writing committee together. And we need to get through the test questions and make sure that they are what's being taught in school.
Correlates to what's on the exam. Yes.
And Tina, I see your hand up. Go ahead.
I'm pretty sure the item writing has happened. I don't know that it all has completely been processed to go in to change the questions yet. But I know that item writing has happened.
Okay. And so with that being said, the other thing we have going on is we are working on a request for procurement for testing. For a new testing system. So without going into a lot of detail, the contract has expired. We're in a interim contract right now with the company, with Solutions, which is now ITI, Intellectual Technologies Incorporated. And they are keeping us going, but there's been, because of the age of the software that we have here, it's difficult to even log into it to keep it up and running. So once that is done, then all the new questions will be in and updated, and we've been actually working on a way to get in and update the questions now. But they're located in Indiana and we're in Oregon. It's just been difficult to get into this archaic software, and which was not ITI software, it was Solutions through software that we're working through. So we've got some things going on, and one of them is this RFP for a new testing system.
Thank you, Bob, for the update.
Okay. On slide 44 are your financials. They're slowly getting better. And I would expect they continue to get better as the number of licensees that are coming through and those that are renewing these should turn around and get us in the black, hopefully in the next year or so. Any questions on the financials?
Just wondering if you, this is Tracy, are the other licensings, are they improving? Are they seeing better numbers as well?
You talking about the boards?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, some run with almost an equal beginning cash balance and net operations. But We have other programs that are in a similar situation that you are, such as midwives, leave, respiratory therapists. I think, but anyway, yeah, you're not the only one. And it happens, it ebbs and flows, you know, and as you recall, we raised fees. So it'll take us a minute to climb out of that $1 million+ deficit
Right.
that we had prior to 2021. And so as you can see, it's about $100,000 to $200,000 a year that we move in a positive direction.
And are we like one of the more expensive, do we have more expenses than other boards do? Or like percentage wise, are they all relatively the same?
They are, so we have the large boards and small boards. Yours is higher because we have inspectors.
Right.
Between you and Body Art that actually go out in the field, so there's vehicles and those folks that we pay for. But compared to the small boards who don't have. All right. Trampus.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Trampus.
My name is Trampus Shuck. I'm the interim regulatory manager, and I'm here to talk a little bit about the regulatory report. As you can see, we have 3 bienniums still left on the regulatory report, the 2021, the 2023, and the 2025, which we are currently right kind of smack dab in the middle of. So you can see from this, you have it open and closed. That 2021 biennium, we had 556 complaints come in during that time frame. 18 are still hanging on in some various state of open, and 556 have been completed and closed. In the 2023 biennium, we had 230 complaints come in for those 2 year for that period, and 49 of them are still, open. And the 2025, we've had 180 come in so far. Well, like I said, we're just a little over halfway through, and 124 of those are still open. So as you can see, the closer we get to the current biennium, the more cases that are open. We have 191 cases that are currently in some state of being open, out of the 700, or out of the 984 that came in during this time period. So over to the right, you can see the types of complaints that came in, and you can kind of see what some of that bump was in 2021 with COVID complaints, and dealing with those was a little bit of a chore, but we got through all that. And you can see the types of complaints: laser services, licensing concerns, safety and sanitation, service provided. So those are just kind of the various categories that we drop them in. Complainants by type. So this is who complained. 446 were anonymous. 422 were the actual clients themselves, and 118 were somebody else. That could be family member, that could be, just some third party that complained. Could be another cosmetologist, could be an employee, could be all kinds of different situations. So that's kind of the overview of this. Does anybody have any questions about the regulatory report, or regulatory in general, or inspections, or investigations, or anything like that we can talk about? I can answer for you.
This is Tracy.
Mm-hmm.
The licensing concerns is
Mhm.
like considerably higher than it was like in 2023. Do we know why there's an increase on those, or is it just happenstance?
Licensing concerns. So licensing concerns. Yeah, we're just over halfway through, and we've already had 100. So we
Right.
kind of are on track to have a pretty high licensing concern. I think that ebbs and flows a little bit over the 16 years that I've been around. Every once in a while, some hot new thing will come out. hot new thing. Some new
Right.
new service will come out that people are doing tend to do unlicensed right now. You know, what comes to mind is like eyelash services
Got
and
it.
some aesthetic services that are kind of maybe bumping that number up. We see a lot of the unlicensed stuff is that, or it could also just be, hey, there's some people working in this shop and you need to check them out because we think they're unlicensed, that kind of thing. So that could be a licensing concern, or but yeah, so that's probably the biggest trend. Those two issues are probably driving that number right there. So
Got it. Thank you.
mhm.
Any other questions for Trampus?
All
Okay,
right. Well,
thank you all. Thanks,
Thanks, Rick.
Trampus.
you. Yeah, thank you.
All right, we didn't have very many people from the public, but I see some on there now. Chair, you want to go ahead and read us into public commission parties feedback, please?
Yes, at this time, the Board of Cosmetology will hear public interested parties' feedback. Members of the public, please wait until you've been recognized. Once recognized, please state your name and affiliation to the board for the record.
Is any of the public that's online want to make a comment? Okay,
Oh, sorry. I had just unmuted. Can you hear me okay?
and you are who?
Amantha Hood.
Okay, go ahead.
I was just kind of listening into the licenses pass versus fail rates. And I was wondering too, like for the natural hair license, what outside of the PowerPoint, where is the PowerPoint derived from, the one that's on the website? Is that from like a Milady natural hair book, or I was just curious if you guys might know.
Tina, go ahead.
It was created here in our office.
Yeah, so that would have been the previous, policy analyst, that pulled that together in her group, and all those folks are gone. So, Tina, do you know where they pulled the information? I think is what the question was. Was it taken from the lady or was it taken from other sources?
Yeah, I'm sure my lady and other sources, we could probably look that information up. I believe there possibly was subject matter experts involved too. And it was all redone. Tracy, are you thinking like a couple years ago, 3 years ago, where it was rewritten?
I think it was even before that, because
Yeah.
I don't recall the actual, it being that it's always been the way that it is right now since I have known of it. So I think it's
Okay.
been a while.
So it used to be less questions, and then it went to a lot more questions, especially when the rules were being changed for washing and conditioning the hair. So it's been a little bit, but does that help answer your question as far as who developed it?
Yeah, thank you. I was just curious if there's an approach as well, kind of similar to barbering, where maybe that could be reconsidered, like what the questions look like, and even where they're being pulled from, and maybe there's even like, more modern technology and parts of the services under natural hair care and even terminology that
Yeah.
could possibly be considered, just because that's 55 pass to 70 fail. Um, you know, I was just kind of thinking about that. And I know that Milady is coming out. They're supposed to be coming out with a new textured hair care book in 2025. So that was just something I wanted to bring up.
So this is Tina. So eventually, they go on a rotation of when exams are re-looked at. So since this one was done not that long ago, it's a possibility later, but I can definitely tell you that there are individuals that just come in here that think that they can pass that exam. And we have been seeing a lot of fail rates from not, possibly not studying long enough for it. And we have seen a big influx of individuals coming in because of the new scalp treatment. That's
Oh, the Korean med spa.
yes. And
Gotcha.
so, which not exactly sure. I'm pretty sure from what I've been told that it doesn't fall under natural hair care, but it is being looked at.
This is
Gotcha.
Tracy. Ms. Hood, like, I think that I think there's an opportunity to look at this licensure as something, I don't think it was created, I think it's being acquired by people that are not necessarily using it with the intention of how it was developed. And so I think that there's an opportunity for the board, HLO, to take a look at it again. It's interesting. It is the only licensure that doesn't require any hours or practical services attached to it. It's just, this module. And so I think if we start incorporating more services under this licensure, that my opinion is that we would need to look at what does it look like for someone to actually acquire hours and practice practical assessments before they go and obtain this licensure. So I think, there's a lot of wiggle room inside of this. I think there's a lot of places that we can develop and grow this licensure, but I think it also comes with we need to be mindful of how we're moving forward with it, that we don't start requiring things of these candidates that would put it in a financial hardship or something like that for them as well.
Understood. That makes sense. So I guess my question is when is what year are you guys going to be re-looking at the current exams? And then the second thing I was going to say was, like, there are people in Portland that are currently, like, trying to help students study and have created, like, PowerPoints based off of the one that's on the website to really, like, dive into the concepts deeper and trying to prepare them to go take the exam. So I know that there's a lot of people out here that are trying to do the work, to improve those numbers. I don't think they even know the numbers, but, like, they're just trying to help people, you know what I mean, get their license one way or another. So I think that there are some people in Portland that are definitely trying to work with it. Um, but I guess just to summarize, what year would you guys be re-looking at the licenses, just so I'm aware?
It's not on our schedule yet, and I can't tell you when. It'll be in the next few years. And when we get to it, when we do committees, that will be posted on our website. We'll be looking for committee members to get through these programs. I see Alyssa's hand up, Chair.
Alyssa?
Yeah, hey there. So I guess just listening to all this, if there's no schooling or any sort of time that's put in before someone goes and takes the test to get the license, and then let's just say the test is looked at and then, gets updated, still the folks coming to take the test, they haven't been in school. That's still kind of like a cold call test situation where you're going into a new test that, you haven't been in school for or anything. So I guess, what am I trying to say? How do people know what to study when going in for this test if
Yeah.
there is no school required? That's my question. There you go.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is Tracy. There is a module on the state site that covers, the majority of the content. It won't tell you the specific questions necessarily, but you can look into it. There's a module on the site. Tina?
I might do that. I've never looked at that before. So thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that module is pretty detailed and it's pretty intense because of the fact that they do not have to go to school. So they really have to study that module and use the any type of resources that there are to prepare for that exam. And it could be that some might not be preparing for it. And it sounds like Miss Hood is helping students out there prepare a little bit more, but since they don't go to school, it is a tough exam to take.
I just wanted to clarify. I'm not the person teaching or trying to help people with natural hair care in Oregon, but there's a gal named Melody Brown who's doing a really good job at doing that. And I just was trying to touch base on it because, you know, I get natural hair care services all the time. So I was just curious about what it would look like to drive those numbers up and test passing rate. But thank you so much for answering the questions. I appreciate you guys.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Alicia?
Actually, Amanda, I think the guest who just was speaking, what is the main issue? I'm curious, when you said updating like terminology, is that sort of the main issue? Or I guess in general, what do you feel like are the main issues anyhow that need to be updated?
Well, just kind of looking at it right now, it's 167 pages, so I'm gonna scan kind of quickly. I haven't gone over it in probably like over a year when I was just curious about it. I think the format is kind of like just the PowerPoint aspect is kind of more of something that might be a barrier in understanding the concepts. I know, you know, I teach aesthetics at Champions Beauty Institute, and even the PowerPoints that Milady's offered, they just don't, the content does not resonate with students. So, like, actually bringing the book to life, so bringing the PowerPoints to life, maybe somebody does a video or something that kind of explains and shows what these different services actually are. Because reading, like, what braiding is and cornrowing and extensions and lacing, like, yeah, those are just words, but like to actually be able to take the test, you know what I mean? To understand these concepts, we need visuals. I think in general people do when it comes to learning. So I think that there's a big barrier there is that it's 167 pages of a lot of words. Um, that's one aspect. And some of the terminology I would even say is like kind of um, maybe outdated, like sewing, sew-ins, like just like the terminology that people in the community of natural hair care as far as like the demographic that it was initially created for, like African American hair, textured hair, the terminology might not resonate with some of these people because that's like not what we scroll on, you know, Vigero when we're going to book in a salon to actually get these services. So those are just a couple things that I can think of pretty quickly. But I would really just say the way that it's being projected out in a PowerPoint, you know, it's a great start, but I would definitely think that something visually and, you know, connecting audio, visual, and, you know, read, like those are just kind of bringing it in to all types of learning styles. That might be something that could increase those test pass versus fail rates. That's just my personal perspective, you know, and how I learned in the classroom and even how I'm presenting content to my current students at CBI.
This is Tracy again. Like I think you're right, and I want to make sure that we like I said, I think there's opportunities to develop this in particular ways. I want to make sure that we don't have an expectation of HLO to educate people on the licensing. Like we want to make sure that people are passing, but if we're, you know, this may be an area where there is new opportunity for programs to be developed in educational facilities to, you know, to educate people. It's an expense for, you know, HLO to create more content for people, you know, to pass this. Like I think it's an interest. We are in a very interesting space with this of kind of navigating what is the requirements, what is the responsibility of the state, what is the responsibility of educational facilities to create the content in a way that's digestible and retainable for the people that are trying to license. Tina?
Hi, this is Tina. I just looked to see when it was revised last, and it was October 1st of 2020. So also I did want to bring up that there has been a language barrier lately for that exam too. And that could be why the pass-fail rates are lower.
Thank you, Tina. Alicia?
You're welcome.
Sorry, one last thing. I realized that when I went and took my exams for my license and stuff, it was also just a list of questions. There were no visuals, it was just words and then multiple choice, which I somehow fail at miserably personally because so I guess if we were going to take the approach of visuals and different things like that, then that sort of is like, well, then I guess we would have to do it for all of the licensing, the barbers, the esthetician, the hair, the everything, because nobody gets that right now. Interestingly, I'm not saying we shouldn't get it, but maybe that's why the natural hair care is that way. It's just because that's how everybody else is currently. So, that's all. Just a note. Alrighty. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Alicia.
Okay.
Am I supposed to raise my hand? I'm sorry.
That's okay. Go right ahead.
I just to clarify, I wasn't suggesting on the exam itself, but for the actual learning aspect of the 167 pages of the PowerPoint, that there might be visual aspects because again, the fact that these people that are studying are not in school, right? So they're not getting that hands-on practical and actual visual of the hair in person and
Right.
whatnot. The visuals would be there on the PowerPoint in itself, not the actual exam. I think the exam, is what the exam is for everybody, right?
Oh,
Understood.
thank you for clarifying that. I didn't realize. Sorry. I'm sorry that I even, yeah,
No, you're good.
sorry about that.
All good,
Got it.
Alicia.
Okay.
We got clarity through it, so thank you. Did you have something else, Alicia? Your hand is still raised.
No, I'm trying to figure out how to lower my hand. There we go.
Raise.
Okay.
You're all
Thank
good.
you.
There you go.
You're all good. Anyone
Oh,
else?
Sorry, yes. Do you
It's
know
okay.
of any programs in Portland that are doing this, the natural hair care? Okay. I'll email you because I do. I know of an 8-week program that is literally dedicated to this.
Love that.
Yeah, I will
Because
send that to you.
I even had,
And
we have, this is Tracy. I even have students come to me and say, I'd like to take this, get this license so that I can be a shampoo assistant before I get my, hair design license or whatever. And they're coming to me with language that I'm like, I don't know this language. This is not familiar to me. It's not in my scope of practice. So if I had a resource to send them to, that would be great. So thank you.
so,
Absolutely.
Ms. Hood, this is Bob Bothwell and Chair, members of the board. Any information that you send to that you want to send to the chair, would you please send it to HLO instead? So we can make sure that an inadvertent board meeting is not held by online means. And if you could send what you want to send to the chair to Derek Holtz at Derek, DEREK .J.Foltz, FULTZ at OHA.Oregon.gov. And we'll get it to the analyst and farmed out to the board members.
Thank you, Bob.
Yes, I can do that. Just to confirm, Derek, DERK.J.Foltz, FULTZ at OHA.Oregon.gov.
Okay, you went really quick, but it's DEREK.J.Foltz.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, I see George's Academy there. Carrie, did you want to say something? I'm calling you out because I see you up there.
Hello. I was trying to figure out how to unmute. So I just want to clarify real quick. So you guys are referring to the natural hair exam, and that on the website, there is 167 page training module that you've referred to help students know what is on the exam for natural hair? Is that right?
It's a study, it's to study, and the questions are derived from what's on the website, what they study from. We don't give them something to study and then,
But it's basically the curriculum for a natural hair licensure. Do you
Okay.
understand what my question is? Is that, so you're providing a 167 page outline of curriculum for what that test is based on, so that somebody just goes onto the website and is able to read that and study that and then take the natural hair and be licensed.
yes.
Okay, so I understand the concept of it, but that's basically taking away from our private career schools and training on hair and what we do for hair. Then on the flip side of that, the question is, would there be some sort of a module that's provided for nail technology or aesthetics or something along those lines that break out the verbiage and that kind of stuff for the nail license? Do you see where my point is? Is that Oregon Health Licensing is assisting somebody on getting their natural hair license without the support of a private career school in Oregon. And there's no information or support modules for the other exams.
So
I
let's
guess I'm
go.
just a why person, and I want to understand why that falls on Oregon Health Licensing that you're providing that module.
So, when the natural hair care, came through legislation, several years ago, it was very streamlined, washing hair and brushing and combing. And now it's ballooned into these other pieces where they can do conditioning and blow drying and other things. So it wasn't intended, if I remember, it wasn't intended to be a curriculum item for schools. It was supposed to be wash hair and comb it. And for, and then the hair that is different than, straight hair for African Americans, there's a specific way that folks want to have their hair done, for example.
Yeah.
Straightening.
And I understand, and as it's developed, now there's hair extensions and there's scalp treatments.
Well,
But that is all curriculum within our hair design program that students are paying for to get that knowledge and training. Do you see where the conundrum is? Do you kind of understand the point?
This is Tracy. I mean, Carrie, I hear exactly what you're saying, which is why I've been, like we are in uncharted territory. I think that there's an opportunity for us to reassess and relook at this, because from my understanding, my perception of this, our responsibility is for the safety of the public. And so with the development of natural hair care was intentionally set up so that it excluded anything that had to do with cutting other than string, things that were not going to be regular, like safety wise, right? And so it has continued to develop into more things, which is why I believe we need to be very mindful as we move forward and incorporate more and more things so that we don't end up, or either, I don't want to say we don't end up in a place of having an hours requirement. However, I think that we need to be super intentional about how we move forward and making it a financial responsibility for anyone trying to obtain this license. If we start incorporating more services, then I do think we have to reassess and say,
Mhm.
is this something that is going to require hours mandated by the state,
Yeah.
practical
Right.
services mandated by the state, so that
Right.
it is regulated in the same manner as hair design, nail technology, and aesthetics. But, I think there needs to be a lot of intention moving forward and a lot of mindfulness moving forward to
Mhm.
either make the decision intentionally. Is this something that is, you can do this module, 161 pages. It does not incorporate anything that already falls under the hair design license, or
Right.
it's something that we actually want to develop in that manner so that it does incorporate and it doesn't include more of those services and has a broader scope of practice inside of that.
Right. And I absolutely understand the idea of it, but we forget there's so much to it. I mean, scalp analysis and the product that you're using on the hair and the amount of heat that you're using on the hair. I mean, if I think about the curriculum that we've got that covers what this natural hair is, I mean, we're in hair growth, scalp analysis, like braiding curriculum, hair extension curriculum. I mean, this is weeks and weeks that we are
Right.
spending on these topics that are part of this natural hair. And that's where I'm kind of floored. And I know the intent to start evolved into the ability to do hair extensions and
Okay.
all of these things. I mean, I'm sorry, but a scalp treatment is still there's still products and ingredients that can be,
Well,
unintentionally harmful. So
um,
I know that the intention was there, but what it's become is way beyond the scope of, I think, what was originally intended for.
so Carrie, what we'll do is, we will
But thank you
get,
for listening and,
Well,
and
thank you.
understanding. I know you guys know that this is a concern. It's just always hard to make any changes or reel anything in a timely manner.
So Chair, this is Bob, if I
Yes.
may.
Yes.
Couple things, and Ms. Hood, we see your hand up, so give us a second.
Yes.
So this is public interest parties feedback. I mean, we're getting into a dialogue that's not on the agenda. So, Carrie, if
Right.
you please
Right.
send Sammy, an email of your concerns or
Okay.
Tina Russell.
Okay.
And, we can,
Sammy,
disseminate the information to the board and work on what your concerns are.
Thank you, Bob.
okay.
Ms. Hood,
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Welcome.
Ms. Hood, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Okay, she's not responding. Ms. Hood, if you can hear me, you can email Derek or Sammy, questions and concerns. Chair.
He's running on another device.
Yes.
Trying to get myself
Yeah, no worries.
decomposed.
We're
Okay.
done.
Yes, Ms. Hood, I don't know if you heard me. We've moved on. If you can, send Sammy Patno or Derek, your questions and concerns. This was intended, just interested parties' feedback to the board, when we got a little bit off track. But we're back on track, so if you could just send information to those folks. And Chair, if you're ready, we can move on to other board business.
Is there any other board business?
Any of the board members have anything that they need each other to work on? And when Sammy gets back for the next board meeting, I'm sure we'll have a plethora of information. This was pretty quick read.
Yes. So go ahead and close.
It's up to you. You can adjourn.
If there's nothing else, I'm going to go ahead and adjourn. The Board of Cosmetology meeting is adjourned at 10:59 a.m.